Right, a bit of a late start. I did my usual, get up, fanny about, doing very little, watch a lot of YouTube, eat breakfast, sit around doing very little again, watching more YouTube, eat lunch, get chocolate on top. And then I thought, actually I've got another wiring loom, not from a Smart, and I know that the airbag connectors are very common, so I thought, oh no, I'll go and have a look at my this other wiring loom. It's from a Renault as well, so oh, there's a good chance that it might have the right connections on. In fact, it's got 7 airbag connectors. None of them are right. A veritable bouquet of connectors. And these are actually exactly the same as the ones that are in the steering wheel. So I'll keep those just in case. But currently, no good to me now. The fucking house on the M25. Right, despite not having the airbag connector, I can actually put the dashboard back in place. As long as I don't put the glove box back in, I can actually reach the connector fine. I've ordered one online. Actually trying to find them was really tricky. It's seems to be made by quite a few different companies. It seems to be like some sort of standard. It's called an AK2 connector, and there's 3 different types, depending on the position of the little pin, little tab that is inside the connector. But despite being a very common connector, actually getting them is very hard. You can get them on AliExpress, but the problem is they'll take like 3 or 4 weeks to get here, which I haven't got time. So I had to trawl through eBay and eventually try and find a wiring loom from something else that had the right colour connector on it. Eventually I found one. It still cost me like 15 quid for one connector, but at least it'll turn up during the week because it was from the UK. So until then, we should have to try and get this this thing back in and not break any of the stalks off. Now, the thing I fell for last time when I put a dashboard back in is all the little connectors underneath the dashboard, make sure they're in the right place, because I bolted the entire dashboard down and then found that I couldn't find the connector for the central locking and the hazard lights. So I had to take the entire dashboard out again just to get it. So make sure that all your connectors are in the right place. Yeah, that looks all right. Best way to know for sure is start putting some fixings in. This is where it helps to remember if it was a long Torx 20 or a short Torx 20. I've got a feeling that most of them are long, except for the ones in this area, which were short. I'll stick a few in and find out. When you reconnect the central locking and hazard button, when you push it in, you'll hear a click and you think, oh, that's it. Press the buttons before you do anything else, because the back clip generally doesn't actually clip in, so you have to really push it, and you'll probably hear a really faint click, and then it'll be in. And then you've got to struggle trying to plug the bloody thing in. There you go, sweet. The next job that's fairly tricky is rerunning these cables for the pods. Also, as an aside, if you haven't got the facelift version of the car with the Bosch stereo, around here, that will be where the GPS antenna is. So if you pull the dash out, there'll be a long lead, blue connector on the end. What you have to do is take out one little screw there, and the whole thing actually slides out forwards, and you can change it. On this one, it's actually at the front of the car, as you've seen in the previous videos. And you have been watching them, haven't you? Now this connector needs to go in here and through and out there. And it'll either take you an hour, or you'll be bloody awesome like I am and fluke it in under a minute. Again, too many clips. But then when you put it back in, you have to remember, push all the way around so the clips actually clip in. Reconnect. Plug it in. Right. Right, Speedo. Ah. So much plastic. Right, once you've got the Speedo in place, obviously it sort of clicks in a little bit, and obviously plug it in. This floppy flange bit needs to go over the two lower mounting holes. Now don't forget to do that before you do everything else up. Otherwise you'll have to take it all back off again and then refilm it. Right, now this tricky bit, this part sits over the top of the Speedo. It's got these hooks that go up and underneath the dash, and then you have to push them in. Again, it can take you an hour, it can take you 10 seconds. Lucky. Right, this bit has got, yeah, they're sort of clips, but they're really piddly little things. So it's actually hard to tell whether or not they've gone in on it, but just behind the Speedo, just down there, you've got the same of these little yellow clips here. So you sort of have to know you've got it in place and then give it a smack. And it's make sure you smack it with your good arm. See, these are tricky. So I don't know why I always do it. I always start putting it on and sort of just get it in place and then realise I have to explain it to the camera. These little clips have to go behind the Speedo. So you have to sort of get it in and then fold it round. This side's a bit more tricky. The other side's not too bad because you can sort of force it. Simple as that. Right, load more side bolts. Right, stereo time. Don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. Let's start excavating through this plastic. We'll have ours. One of these. Bit of that. We'll start off with this one. I'll go on the other side, make it a bit easier for me. And obviously the stereo. Fucking plastic everywhere. Again, little clips. You have to dig them behind the Speedo. Do not drop these when you're putting them back. It's like a game of Kaplunk. All you hear is the dit, 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 dit. You'll never see it again, but as you drive, you can hear it moving around. Oh. What next? Speedo surround. Again, violence required. Right, on this, you have to go in like that and down, otherwise the clips don't do a particularly good job. Perfect. The second time. Throw this in. They were screws, weren't they? I vaguely remember them being different. I told you to remind me where they are. Oh, thanks. So we're not putting that side on, so we can still get to the airbag connector. And the bottom of the airbag is just there, so I can get that plugged in, that's fine. I can't put this part on because I need that off to put that in. I can't put this part on because I need that off to put that in. And don't forget to put these bolts in that go underneath the A-pillar covers before you put the A-pillar covers back on. This side is made worse because you've got this wiring loom in the way, so you can't even see what you're doing. So you have to do it all by the sense of smell. Nice. Right, now A-pillar covers, as I said in a previous video, this front tab is just a bit too big. So if you have problems getting them in place, just cut it half off, not the entire thing. But I will give it a little struggle at first, just to see if I can get it on. And then I've got to work out what bolts are supposed to be up here, because they are far too narrow. We'll get them on, and then I'll start worrying about the fixings, because it might not even get on, to be honest. Oh, 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 go on. You will have to pull the rubber strip back just to get it underneath. That's fine. I'll do the other side, and then I'll try and work out what the fixings were holding it in place. There's nothing I can see. Again, if you've got magnetic Torx driver, you're going to be a lot better off. At least on this side you can actually see the Torx driver and the top of the bolt. You're just somewhat limited by the space. Need a longer persuader than that. Longer persuader. No, that's getting cut off. There you go, I'm taking it off slightly. Click, effortless. That didn't take about half an hour at all. Right, now what screws we used to hold them in. Now, as is so often the case, I had to look back through one of my previous videos to see where I put the bolts. for the A-pillar covers. You're supposed to remind me. For some reason I put them there, which at the time now it doesn't make much sense, but yeah. Right, don't need that. And obviously don't forget the single bolt that goes at the top of the dash. Okay, don't forget the 10mm hex bolt that goes in the front of the dashboard. Again, it's a bit tricky, but the fact that you can see through the top of the windscreen down the hole makes it a lot easier. I had to push this side of the dashboard in slightly, only by about a mil or two, just to line the hole up. If you couldn't see it, you'll be there for ages. It feels like it's going in, but it's not. So I got mine started. It was a bit of a pain. And I say it again, metal tools, glass windscreen, be very careful. It's very easy to do when you spin the head of the ratchet round, just to hit the inside of the glass, and then there'll be tears. So always cover the end of the ratchet when working near glass. And then you can, once tightened, cover it up with the unnecessarily clipped cover. Right, now we need to talk about the new centre console part that everyone seems to want. It's got a nice little slidey thingy, and inside the little slidey thingy you get little cup holders that go in, and oh, nice, yeah. All the parts in excess of 500 quid. Incredible price. So I thought, I wonder if any of these parts are shared by any other cars. I mean, it is fairly unlikely, but it's always worth a little look. So I had a little check. Every single part has got a part number on it. You just got to find it. See, now this bit, clearly smart car part, starts A453, 453 car. We've got here 453. Side panel 453, as expected. This part definitely a 453 part. Now this A205. Now I noticed the little floppy rubber mats. This one A453, also A205. Suspicious, but we'll come back to that. This part, I know what you're thinking, definitely a smart car part, yeah, obviously, but this bit here, suspicious, because it's obviously a separate part. So I looked on the back here, Renault part. It doesn't have a 4.5. Well, yeah, no, it doesn't have a 453 number. But what it does have, because whenever you see that goes on there, I don't know, like that, and you put your phone on it, and unless you drive that total mallet, the phone stays there. But your initial reactions is, that's a charger, isn't it? It's got to be a charger. No. However, on the back of this, it says in plain English and French, back console sans chargeur, or sans chargeur, which in a proper language means go fuck yourself. It's a console insert without a charger, which means at some point in some car there is this piece sans charger with charger. So we've just got to work out exactly what car it's from. So we'll get back to that as well. Okay, so A205. A205 Mercedes C-Class. So that part and that part from Mercedes C-Class, made between 2015 and 2023 possibly. Don't know if they updated the interiors or not. So you've got much more of a chance finding those two particular parts in the scrapyard and saving yourself a bit of money. So I'm sure Smart want like 100 quid for those or something stupid. So I'm just gonna put you on hold. I'm going to see if I can find out if I can find this insert with charger, not sans charger. Okay, looking further into it. Also, this little, the chargy bits in there, you've got the two USBs and the aux in. That part is a separate part. That seems to be from a Renault Clio, possibly Mark V, not sure. That sans charger, I tried looking for BAC console avec charger. Didn't really come up with much, apart from some aftermarket chargers. So I tried to find out what car that's for. And I believe, as far as I can tell, it's for a Clio Mark V, a Renault Capture, and also a Dacia Sandero 3 and a Stepway 3. But I couldn't see a replacement for that with the charger built into it. Every time you search for something like that with the charger built into it, it seemed to be a much bigger unit. So I'm wondering if that's just like a blanking spot for something a lot larger. I don't think it's going to fit in that particular spot there. So have a look yourself, obviously, but personally, I'm just going to put the Apple magnetic charging thing straight into that. But yeah, if you find out where that part is with the charger built into it, that's great. Let me know. Otherwise, you have to, depending on what phone you've got, you'll have to cut that out and place in a charger. If you've got a 3D printer, great. It's a very easy part to design and 3D print. And then you've got to design it so your wireless charger goes in the top there. Step one, doing a stir fry. Take the mini corn out. Because we're going to cook this slightly differently to the rest of it. Take the mini corn. And I cook the rest. horrible shit. Horrible. Now, I don't know if you're one of those superior iPhone owners or one of those weird Android owners, but even the weird Android owners can't deny that MagSafe is by far the best wireless charging standard. I mean, look, no fucking around. Now, if you've got that in your car, you know, if you 3D print a something somewhere, you can put your phone there and it's going to stay there. Now, if you've got it built into the center console, you put your phone there, doesn't matter how bad you drive, that's not going anywhere. So I'm sure eventually one of the Android phone makers will copy it, and you'll be able to do some good stuff as well. But until then, you probably have to get like a charging mat with a bit of rubber on it to stop it sliding around. Obviously, if it does slide, then there's a chance it'll stop charging. Not ideal, but yeah, if you've got an iPhone with the MagSafe charging, you're laughing. Alright, that's about as far as I can go with that until I get the airbag connector. So I've been working on adding the wireless charger to the center console. That was very easy. Literally just work out exactly halfway between the phones. Not exactly halfway on the back of the phone, but stick it halfway. It's a pretty good start. Work it out. Just draw the line on the rubber mat. Carefully cut it out. And then just glue that down. You have to create a small hole for the USB lead to go through. A small line so that you can bend it down without this flexing up. Add a bit of glue. Add a bit of weight. And then leave that to dry so we can fix that next weekend. And now, because I was stupid enough to buy a cheap camera, so I had to move some cameras around because the girlfriend's mum's camera failed. So I went to stick in one of my spare cameras, but she had a different connector, so I had to give her one of my cameras, which was a fairly decent one. So as a quick replacement, I got this Lingdo. It's pretty crap, to be honest. It was like 120 quid, so I was expecting more. But the night vision's not particularly good. It hasn't got WDR. At night you can barely see any number plates at all. In the day, when you're moving, it's all a bit blurry, so it's not really worth it. So I took it back out again. So I got some replacement for the one I actually gave away. Now, I don't know why dash camera companies can't make decent software for their dash cams. It's absolutely shocking that that Lingdo one was by far the worst I've ever used. And I thought the DD Pi one was bad. I mean, the next base, the cameras are great, but the software is utter pants. So I've already whipped out the old one, so I'll have to take out the old lead. I'm just going to quickly throw this one. Not going to wire it up properly, just going to connect it back here. So at least that way, when I drive around, I'm protected from idiots. Oh, the lady's turned up. Say hello. Hi. Yeah, have all the cameras I've tried. These are by far the best. Just the software shit. And this was actually a bit of a bodge when I did it. can't use the this wiring connector because it uses the slightly more updated, what's that, micro USB, whereas the next base uses the mini USB. At first I thought it was a bit strange because obviously this is a very old standard, but then it's a lot more robust. What I like about these, obviously apart from the picture quality, is the mount. This one, it's actually got like GPS built into it, and it's magnetic, so it makes it nice and easy to take it off. The amount of times I've put a dash cam up and I went to plug it in, I've moved it over too far and it doesn't fit between there and there, and let's just get this in place. It's nicely stuck up, so when I'm in the driving seat I can't see it. And the good thing is that the mount actually fits all of these versions, right down to the really cheap version, so you can stick your mount up, start for the cheapest one. If you like it, you can get the next one up and it clips straight in. The other good thing about the next basic cameras is, yeah, you can take it off there, which leaves that bit, but then you can also take that off as well, which is handy because it's got the power connector in the side there, as well as in the where is it? There it is, bottom of the camera. Sorry, top of the camera. So depending on how you mount it, you can decide whether or not you want to power it from the mount, which obviously has the little pins in it. So it's a lot more multi-purpose than the other cheaper cameras. And what's the point of having head cam if you're not using head cam? So it's placed in there. It goes up and I've just tucked it behind there. It's all about the tuck. That last bit could be a bit neater, but it's only temporary for now. That's nice. The next base power leads were a little bit longer than the one I took out, so that's handy. All the time and date is done through GPS if you have the one with the GPS. Most do. Yeah, like that's it. That's the other thing. Alexa, you don't really need that on a dash cam, do you? You can download the app as well if you really want to, but to be honest, it's not particularly good. If you really need to, it does seem to insist on it, which is a bit of a shame. I think I've already got it on my phone. There you go, under Bluetooth. Yeah, it looks good. That's the 422 connected to. Always format the SD card first. Even though they generally come pre-formatted, there are some cameras and some cards that just don't really play nicely together. I must remember to keep reminding people, don't bother liking the video, but do subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, otherwise you'll miss out on all this nonsense. We're getting there, literally just a few more odds and ends on the inside, and then button up the front, which is already just a bit of a mess. Don't put your hand there, you fucking idiot. Oh, there's fucking mess everywhere. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Oh. Yeah. So have a good week. I don't give a shit, to be honest. Raid Shadow Legends.